very good day to you out there. This is African Free Press Television, where we report Africa from a refreshing perspective and guess you had a fabulous week. My name is Leo Oketa, bringing you stories in the news this week. The President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, on Sunday said that the breakdown of the National Assembly's budget will for the first time be made public next week. This was contained in the statement signed by Mohamed Issa, Special Assistant on Public Affairs to Saraki. The Senate President made this disclosure while speaking with a team of editors of the London-based newspaper The Economist. Saraki said that publication of the budget was in line with the anti-corruption stance of the 8th National Assembly, promising that the legislature would not cover any form of corruption. The budget of the Senate has never been made public. President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday, March 14th, visited Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, where he held a meeting with the President of Bianga, Nguema Mbasogo, on measures to protect the people and resources of the Niger Delta and Gulf of Guinea. On arrival at Malabo International Airport, Buhari was received by President Mbasogo of Equatorial Guinea, among other dignitaries. The President was accompanied to the country by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Hajia Khadija Ibrahim, Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, Minister of Defense, Mansour Danale, and National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno. They returned to Abuja on Tuesday. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, has directed the AIG in charge of Zone 6, Calabar, Mr. Adisa Bulanta, and 3 commissioners of police to relocate to Port Harcourt, the River State capital, on Monday for pre-elections preparations ahead of the rerun election in Rivers State. A statement issued from Mr. Arase's office says the deployment is to ensure a conducive environment for free, fair and credible election. The statement adds that 6,000 conventional policemen and 14 units of police mobile force personnel MOPOL will be deployed to complement the personnel of River State Command during the election. The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Department of Operations, Mr. Sontonye Wakama, was directed also to proceed to River State to hold meetings with stakeholders and police officers and the State Command on the need for peaceful conduct before, during and after the election. Meanwhile, an Abuja High Court sitting at Jabi has ordered the EFCC and Nigerian Army to release Colonel Nicholas Ashinze, a former aide to the former National Security Advisor, retired Colonel Sambo Dasuki, delivering judgment on a fundamental human rights enforcement suit filed by Colonel Ashinze. Justice Yusuf Haliru directed the respondents to immediately release the applicant on self-recognition. He said that the detention of Dasuki's aide for over 3 months without trial was illegal and constituted a blatant violation of the fundamental rights of the applicant. The court also ordered the immediate release of documents and items the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission seized from the house of the applicant. Justice Halero, in his ruling on Monday, also advised both the EFCC and the Nigerian Army to behave responsibly and not to act as if Nigeria was still under military dictatorship. The former aide to Colonel Sambo Dasuki has been in detention since December 23rd, 2015. And the Army spokesman, Colonel Sani Usman, has confirmed that the number of dead persons in suicide bomb blasts that occurred in Umariri Mulai in the outskirts of Maiduguri in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, has increased to 26. The attack carried out by 2 female suicide bombers also left 18 others injured. He said the first attack targeted a mosque, while the second blast occurred about 50 meters away a few minutes later when sympathizers rushed to the scene. The attack came a day after the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, said he was confident that Boko Haram would be eliminated in Nigeria. And Nigeria's Senate on Tuesday blocked a bill seeking equal marital rights for women. The bill, titled Gender Parity and Prohibition of Violence Against Women, was presented by Abiodun Olujimi, representing Ekiti South, during the Senate's plenary session. According to Ms. Olujimi, the bill would seek equal rights for women in marriage, education, and job. She said if the bill was passed, the widow in Nigeria would automatically become the custodian of her children in the event of the death of her husband and would also inherit his property. The Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu supported the bill. He said Nigeria would develop if women are given the same rights men have. The Senate Majority Leader Lindume and Sani Yerima, a senator from Zamfara State criticized the bill and urged Nigerians to stick with either religious or traditional marriage as it is against the Sharia law recognized by the Constitution. The bill was defeated when the Senate President Saraki put it to vote. And a retired Air Commodore Salisu Abdullahi has told Justice Okonabang of the Federal High Court, Abuja, that Alex Bade, while he was the Chief of Air Staff, usually instructed him to convert 558 million naira to dollars and bring to his house. The amount represented the leftover funds meant for a monthly payment of staff salaries, said Abdullahi, who was Director of Finance and Accounts of the Nigerian Air Force from October 2010 to December 2013. He said that the instructions to convert the money to dollar was given to him verbally, as it is custom in the military. And meanwhile, the Senate has given March 22nd as the day it would pass the budget. Senate leader Alain Dume told newsmen that the National Assembly would subsequently transmit the budget to President Muhammadu Buhari before it proceeds on Easter break for onward presidential assent. And the State Security Service in Abuja on Thursday dispelled the rumored death of Akani Afolabi, a member of the Ekiti House of Assembly arrested by the service. Presenting Mr. Afolabi before journalist Abdullahi Garba, an air official of the SSS, said the member was duly invited by the service over some breaches bordering on state security. He said the breaches fall under the purview of the services to investigate. Mr. Garba said the briefing became necessary in order to debunk the rumor being spread in Ekiti by some mischief makers. He said investigation was still ongoing on the matter, adding that the service had not received any court order for his release. He warned that the service would not hesitate to bring the full wrath of the law against any person or persons that may engage in violent actions. Mr. Garba assured Ekiti residents of adequate security and urged them to go about their normal businesses. But while the SSS claimed that Mr. Akani was hale and hearty, the lawmaker was visibly ill. And on the foreign scene, North Korea's Supreme Court has sentenced American student Otto Warmbier, who was arrested while visiting the country, to 15 years of hard labor on Wednesday for crimes against the state, a punishment Washington condemned as politically motivated. The U.S. State Department called the sentence unduly harsh, and White House spokesman George Ennis said it was increasingly clear that North Korea sought to use U.S. citizens as pawns to pursue a political agenda. North Korean media previously said Warmbier, a 21-year-old University of Virginia student, was detained in January for trying to steal an item bearing a propaganda slogan from his hotel in Pyongyang. State Department spokesman Mark Toner called on North Korea to pardon Warmbier, a student from Wyoming, Ohio, and release him immediately on humanitarian grounds. And these are the stories we're tracking for you, coming from African Free Press Television, from those that made the headlines this week. For more, please do log on to our website www.africanfreepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at African Free Press. Like our Facebook page at africanfreepress.com to join us in our discussions on various interesting topics at African Free Press Forum, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at African Free Press. My name is Alei Oketa. Do have a fantastic weekend.